and we're going to do a deep dive into this Diamond Lonzo Ball card. So right off the bat, it needs to be said that we have not yet gotten a 6'6" card that could do it all, right? That could dribble, pass, shoot from range extender, and defend. So far, those cards have all been either 6'3" or it's LeBron James. Right, so the Lonzo, to my and J.R. Smith would be the other one, and I don't necessarily count glitched J.R. Smith because he was so expensive and so rare. I mean, an affordable version of it. So it's very interesting because I know Lonzo's really cheap. Now, I probably overspent for this card because I knew his price was coming down, but I just wanted to pick him up and get him into the collection for the video. But I would imagine I've seen snipes for 18K. He might even be going for less than that at the recording of this video. So let's see what he's bringing to the table, and is the community crazy on this one like they have been in the past? We saw Lamar Odom when he was at the very top of the meta. He was a top 10 card. He was only 40K for some crazy reason. Same thing for Pascal Siakam. He was one of the best power forwards for months, and he was super cheap. Is Lonzo Ball in that class? So let's see what he's bringing to the table from a badge standpoint. Already, he's 6'6". Right? He's 6'6", and he's going to be fast, and he's probably going to be pretty athletic. So now we're just seeing, does he have the shooting and the animations to justify a lineup? Because I love the Westbrook card, but Westbrook's not 6'6". So let's see if Lonzo Ball can make my rotation, or at least be a sub. That third guy off the bench behind Bron and Wade. Or if I don't want to run Bron, if I don't feel like being a cheese ball. All right, so he's got Hall of Fame clamps, Hall of Fame defensive leader, Hall of Fame interceptor, pick dodger, pickpocket, tireless, trapper. He's got the chase down artist badge that you guys know I love so much, and the ever important gold intimidator. And he's also got pogo stick, so he has excellent defensive badges. Okay. Break Starter Hall of Fame, Dimer Hall of Fame, Flashy Hall of Fame, Floor General Hall of Fame, Quick First Step Hall of Fame. And that's the other thing. A lot of these cards that have been bigger and good that could play the point guard haven't been getting the point guard badges. Lonzo's a true point guard. He's still, I mean, what people forget, he's one of the best passers in the game, even at a young age. So, you know, he's getting the benefit of all of these passing badges, which I love very much. Quick First Step. He's got the Bailout, Lob City. Not super important Lob City, but some cards don't like to dunk in my team, so I think Lob City is a little more important in my team than it is in the park. In the park and in rec, everybody dunks all the time. But in my team, sometimes cards just aren't in the mood. You know, they're a little moody. And the Lob City passer might help you a little bit with those mood swingy cards. To make sure they always complete their dunks properly. So he's got Space Creator, Top and Go, no ankle breaker. That's the first negative from a badge standpoint. No ankle breaker. And I'm telling you guys, especially for a dribbler who likes to dribble like myself, that ankle breaker is definitely clutch when it works. So that is a bit of a negative. Not enough of a negative for me to... I would never, you know, bench or sell a card based on them not having ankle breaker. It's just a really nice security blanket to have. These days because it's very strong badge has been buffed. Hall of Fame catch and shoot, Hall of Fame quick draw, Hall of Fame clutch, which can actually be very strong, especially in TTO. If you're in a close score, that clutch shoot is going to kick in. I mean, obviously same thing for MyTeam Unlimited, but it's going to happen in a short time all the time in TTO. Where he's always going to be on the floor. He's not going to be subbed out or anything. So he's got corner, hot start, gold range extender, which is what we were looking for. And shout out to the real life Lonzo for improving his shot. He's improved and completely transformed his shot tremendously. So good on him. All right, and the finishing badge. It's got fast break, Giant Slayer at 6'6". This is much more of a strong badge on cards like Westbrook than it is on people 6'5" and over. Because now it really is just about, especially if somebody's running like Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo, Giant Slayer is completely worthless because those cards just aren't that much taller than you. But if they're running Porzingis and Yao Ming, then Giant Slayer kind of comes back. Even Kareem, Giant Slayer comes back into the fold. So this card, I mean, this badge is good depending on all of that stuff. Slithery Hall of Fame, extremely important. Footwork is okay. Teardropper solid. Relentless, very good. And Contact Hall of Fame. So that's really all we need. All right, let's look at the ratings real quick. Wow, he's got hot zones everywhere. Look at that hot zone chart. That's insane. That's insane. Fantastic. Good on you. So he only had, he has a 93 ball. So I would say if you are going to run this card, you might want to consider putting a 3-point shoe on him, just so you have that extra cushion. It's not that a 93 ball is bad. As long as you have an 86 3-pointer, you should be able to make every shot. It's really about the range extender shots. If you have the range extender and you're at that 90 point, especially I already have the coach activating this, pushing it up to a 90, so he's probably by default an 86 or whatever. Get it to a 92, 93 with a shoe, and you can take those shots super comfortably. But if you know his release, you should still be able to make those shots. So I'm not looking at a 93-point rating as a negative, but it's just, you know, worth mentioning. Driving layups a 98, driving dunks a 95, no standing dunk whatsoever. Draw foul is a 92, which would be really good in MTU. Ball handles a 94, pass accuracy as good as it gets at 94. No post moves whatsoever. I've literally never seen Lonzo Ball do a post move in any piece of footage ever, so that's fine. This is the one thing. Maybe they're saving this for his pink diamond or something like that. Lonzo Ball at the point guard position deserves a better rebound rating than a 61. He's 6'6", he can jump, so he should grab boards. Did he have I don't think he even had rebound chaser. He does not have rebound chaser. Look, man, that's... Come on, 2K. Don't do that. 96 perimeter defense, which is super excellent. No interior defense whatsoever. So this is the problem. Even though this should be a good defensive card overall, interior-wise... Alright, let's look at the strength before we say anything. Steal is a 97. No blocking whatsoever. Shot contest is an 80, though. Lateral quickness is 97. Speed is a 98. Woof. Woof. Vertical's at 80, which is outstanding. Oh my god, if they gave this guy chase down and rebound chaser. If they gave him chase down and rebound chaser, he would have to have bad animations for me not to love the card. Strength's only a 52. So he's going to be a reasonably weak interior defender. I shouldn't even say reasonably weak. He might get bullied on the interior. But look at the size of this character model. My goodness. And we see there, he's got the Pro 3 hesitation. Okay, so similar to Caruso, he has that little hop in his shot before he goes up. And he went up 3 different ways just now. Yeah, you see that? He's got a little bounce in his shot before he goes up. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it just is the big difference between him and an elite scorer at that position. I don't think I have any of my elite pull-up guys on here. If I had Wade or Brandon Roy, I would do a side-by-side comparison so you guys could see just how strong it is when you go straight up into the shot. Yeah, he's got this hop in his shot. That's definitely a little weird if you're going to play the play style of the Pro 3 hesitation. You see he did it right there. He has a weird hop. Let me see with the left trigger hezi. Okay, his left trigger hezi provides less variance. Try it again. Activate that. Okay, so I might go as far as to say I recommend if you play this card, if you want to pull up, tap left trigger or down, don't use his hesitation, because his hesitation, he does a little hop. If you go down with it, he goes straight up. But if you do the hezi, he has a hop. I don't know why he bounces up and down like he's in one of those, you know, ball bins at Chuck E. Cheese, but that's super weird that he has that. It doesn't even, I've never seen that before. So that's odd. It's not a negative enough to say never do this, because just as a quick breakdown, like the reason this is so strong is because you're threatening all 3 options, right? As I've discussed in previous videos, if I do that, I can look at how people are playing me on defense and decide what to do. So if they're sagging off when I tap that right stick, in the middle of that animation, I can decide to pull up. If they're overplaying me and I have room for the crossover, I can do that. And if they're chasing for the 3-point shot, I can hesitate and keep going and either drive or take another 3-point shot. So I prefer to always shoot off the right stick because, you know, right stick going to the ball hand, that's how I'm executing this. I prefer to do that because it gives me all those options. But with Lonzo, he has some weird animations doing it off that. So I can't in good conscience recommend that. Say that he's as strong at that as his animation package would usually leave him to be. Okay, I am seeing something though that might resolve the situation. Might have resolved the situation. Okay, So if you're doing, so we got a little Lonzo tip already. If you're doing this around the perimeter, most cards you can go completely to the right and do that. But with Lonzo, press 2 o'clock for your hezi. And it might help out with those animations a little bit. Keep him from doing that. Nah, he's still doing the hop a little bit, man. Yeah. So you just have to choose based on the situation. If he does the hop, it's not a big deal, but it does slow him down considerably from what other cards would be doing, which is a bit of a negative. I'm not even going to lie. His behind the back's okay. Between the legs okay. His between the legs pretty good. Let's see if he can chain that. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, Lonzo. Okay, so his full court dribble's looking pretty good. And when I say all that, I'm definitely not down on the card at all. But I just got to mention when cards have like weird stuff to them. You see that? Because in any other card in that situation, that's deadly. But with Lonzo, if you're coming up court and people will start to play off you, and you go to the side like that, you might have to go between. You might have to go behind the back. You know, press down on the right stick, and then pull up. Yeah, and that'll be your better option. He can still do it, but it's just different than the other cards you're going to play with. All right, let's check out his. So this is crossover, looking pretty good. Behind the back, looking solid. Check out those hesitation branchers. Hesitation crossover is excellent. That's S tier. What's up, Z-Bot? Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. That's one of the best hesitation crossovers in the game. Left stick. You know, holding turbo, left stick crossover out of the hesitation. That's really, really strong. Let's see his snatchback. Very good. And oh, okay, and he's got the combo out of the snatchback, which is very nice. So as he's going down court, just snatch back and step back again. Give you that extra space. Cash out your range extender jump shot should be very strong. So that's really good. Let's see how that combos out of left trigger. Yeah, really, really nice. All right, let's see what those dribbles are looking like. Those half-court dribbles. Okay, so he doesn't appear. He does not seem to have the killer crossover. Let's try that again. No killer crossover for him. Nope, no killer crossover. What's up, Wally Warriors? Ooh, his step back looked like it might be filthy though. Let's check out those step back combos. Ooh, okay. So he's got a really nice step back dribble, and he's got a really nice behind the back too. See that? Yeah, really good behind the back for Lonzo. You see he throws the ball out, really kind of moves. You see the big difference between him and Caruso. Caruso kind of stayed in one spot, but Lonzo wants to use this move to get to the basket, so that's great. Let's see his shooters between the legs. Not the best version of that. If you guys want to see the best version of that, if you have Tony Parker, he's the one. Okay, there we go. I don't know why they trigger different animations out of this between the legs. I'm almost inclined to call it a bug because I'm doing the same thing every time. Like literally, there's no way to trigger that animation. Besides that, like that animation is between the legs, but sometimes you get a different one. So I don't know why that is. If it's execution error, anybody knows what I could be doing wrong, I don't know. But I'm doing the same thing all the time. And sometimes you get the good one when he stumbles to the side. That one. Yeah, because he can do a version of it. He's not as quick as Tony. Yeah, he doesn't. I wouldn't recommend that for him. But with Tony Parker, that's a viable move to do. To repeat that move over and over and chain it. All right, Lonzo. Let's see what else you got. Do you have behind the back teleport? Let's try that again. Come on, Lonzo. Yeah, he does. Excellent. Not the quickest behind the back teleport, but he does have it. He definitely has it. All right, let's see his crossover behind the back. His crossover, his momentum behind the back is not the strongest. Let's take a look at that momentum dribble, see what he's looking like. Yeah, his momentum's pretty good. I wonder why his momentum behind the back doesn't feel the best. He has a little bit of a slowdown. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can still use it, but it's just worth noting that he has a little bit of a slowdown there on that dribble. So let's see here. See his behind the back in a combo. Yeah, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So I would say Lonzo. I don't want to overly focus on this one thing, but it's just worth noting that as a dribbler, he's excellent with the Pro 3 hesitation, but as a shooter, he's got this weird quirk where he hops up and down before he shoots. And I don't think that prevents him from being able to attack that way, but it is a little bit of a bummer, not gonna lie. His shot release is really good. Lonzo has always had a weirdly good shot release. I like his shot. It's a little bit of a startup to it, but not in a bad way. It kind of gives you a second to really measure it. So he doesn't shoot like a shooter, like a Brandon Roy type guy, but he's going to make a lot of shots. I honestly do think that somebody could probably drop a ton of buckets with this card. I do think he's a very good card. I am definitely going to use this card, but I do not think he's better than Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately, he's not a budget Westbrook. Westbrook is already like the best budget point guard in the game. But if you want to call whatever he's going for, 50, 60, what was he, 40K, something like that? He's almost as good as D Rose, and he costs less than, like, he costs a quarter of the price, I think. Lonzo isn't better than Russ, but Lonzo is kind of next up. He's 6'6", excellent defensive badges, generally very good dribbles. His between the legs is very strong. His behind the back is solid. He's got, obviously he's got the momentum. He's got the behind the back. He's got the Pro 3 hesitation. He can combo his step back out of his snatch back. So that's really good. Let me actually execute that. So he can snatch back right into a step back and double hop right out to 3-point range. Get a really nice jumper off of that. So he's got a lot of tools. I would say he's very, very strong overall. I think he's a really good card. I am a little surprised that he's as cheap as he is. I guess at this point, if you're not a Galaxy Opal, you're just going to be a cheap point guard. Because I don't know if there are any pink diamonds outside of the old Derrick Rose and maybe Gilbert that cost pretty much anything nowadays. Maybe some old Dames cost too much, some old Dame Lillards. But I don't think there's a pink diamond point guard better than Westbrook, at least in my opinion. Obviously, not talking about LeBron James. I'm talking about, shorter point guards. So books, is the C-Web good? Yes, C-Web is good. I did make a video about C-Web. C-Web has a very specific playstyle, but the two things about C-Web, no range extender, no intimidator. My suspicion is that this new Tom Chambers card will be better than C-Web when he's evolved. And so I will prioritize evolving that card because he does get an 86 ball control and like a 90-something speed, and he's 6'10", and he's going to be a way better dunker than C-Web. So I would probably be inclined to go Chambers over C-Web. But C-Web is good. He's definitely good. Very, very good post-up card. And he's actually good defending the post, too. It's really the lack of intimidator that you feel on the card and the lack of range extender, which is unfortunate. He's not the biggest card in the world, even at 6'10". Like, he's listed as 6'10". If he's 6'10", he's barely 6'10". He's not a big 6'10". In fact, I would love to see that C-Web card next to Rudy Gay, because I wouldn't be surprised if Rudy Gay is actually bigger than C-Web. Or at least the same size, even though Rudy Gay is listed absurdly as 6'8", which is clearly not true. But alright, so this Lonzo Ball card, we're going to look at these layup animations. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a decent layup animation there. And then we're going to look at his dunk animations, and we're going to get out of here. That's a very nice hop layup. That's really cool. So yeah, unfortunately, I would still say Lonzo he's a B+ tier point guard. I would probably put him above all of the other diamonds in this slot, although if somebody would prefer to run Ja Morant or Jamal Murray, there are reasons that they could give that they would want to do that. I think this card is better defensively than those cards, and he's good enough off the dribble and good enough of a finisher, and he's taller, so he might be better than those cards. The only thing is, we can check his dunks out now. That's lovely. That's lovely. Is he has such rough interior defensive stats. I'm very curious to see if he's a waste of height, as we used to say back in the park. If the card just doesn't perform like a tall card, when he's defending the bigger cards. But offensively, his height might be really good because when you're contesting shots on a character, height does matter. In fact, let's double check something. Let's check. Does he have Deadeye? He does not have Deadeye. Okay, so he also doesn't have Deadeye. And with a reasonably slow shot release, I do think Deadeye becomes a more important badge. Like, ironically, for a card like Dwayne Wade, it's not that slow, though. Like, it's really not that slow. Okay, so, but I will peg Deadeye as weakness. So his main weaknesses are he's got this ridiculous hop when he goes into his hesitation jumper, forcing you to not do an honest mix-up, as we would say in the fighting game community. Like, if you're doing the Pro 3 hesitation, you're not intending to shoot. You're really intending to change directions. If you go to the shooting, you're going to get that hop, which is not really fast enough to justify as a mix-up, because he adds these several frames of animation to what he's doing. So that's a negative. Lack of Deadeye, lack of ankle breaker, those are both negatives. The height is a big positive. The speed is a big positive. His dunk packages appear to be a big positive. Let's check a couple more things with that. Let's see his hop dunk. Oh, he didn't dunk. Let's see if we can get a hop dunk out of him. There we go. His hop dunks are kind of mediocre. He's no Jimmy Butler in that regard. Let's see his explosion out of triple threat. Solid, but not blinding speed, exploding out of the triple threat. So Lonzo, funny enough, for all of his juiced ratings, he's a very good card, but it's kind of like in real life where he's just like nothing spectacular. So you say his shooting, oh yeah, his shooting is much better. His finishing, yeah, he's a pretty athletic guy. Big 4-point guard, good defense, but he's not really going to wow you, busting you up off the dribble. I think this Lonzo card might actually be a faithful representation of that at this point in the meta in my team. I do think you can cook with this card, but I think it's a lot more work to cook with this card than it is with other cards who are made for it. Like Gerald Wallace is made to just drop 60 points on somebody. Lonzo just has a few slowdowns in his animations, shot not quite fast enough. With his shot speed, he's a card that could use Hall of Fame range extender because he needs a little bit more space. He's got that weird hop on the Pro 3 hesitation. He's not a real moving shots guy, so he's a good card. But if you're running a super high tier guard rotation like LeBron, Wade, Westbrook, like I am, or like a D Rose or something, even an Arenas still, you're probably not going to want to crack your rotation with Lonzo. But if you're running cards with compromises like, say, Jamal Murray and Ja Morant, Chauncey Billups, you might want to consider Lonzo Ball. Or at least give him a look, see how he feels, see if he fits your play style. Because he could be way better for you than those cards. Because of his size, because of his finishing. He is a good shooter. He's just not an elite shooter. He's not a situationally elite shooter. He shoots when he's open. He shoots when people sag off of him. And he should be solid going to the basket. So he does give people a reason to sag off of him. He is still 6'6", very fast, great dunk package in general. So yeah, I like the card. I'm definitely going to play with the card. He's just not going to make my A team. He's going to make my B team. All right. I hope this was helpful for you guys in making your decisions about Lonzo Ball. He does have a very good crossover. Making your decisions about Lonzo Ball. Rewatch this video for all that he can do. Can he do that? No, he can't do that either. Yeah, he can't do the. Well, yeah, he can do it. No, he can't do it. He can do it, but he doesn't do it fast. To change the direction here. And there's the hop. Yeah, that hop is definitely going to make me sell this card. I ain't even going to lie. I want to keep the card because, I love the fact that Lonzo's improving his game. He was once a Laker and all that good stuff. He's an interesting guy with his passing and everything. Like, just in terms of playing NBA players, I find Lonzo kind of interesting with everything with his dad and all that. But that hop, y'all might see Lonzo on the market. Should you buy Giannis or the new Paul George? That depends if you have Giannis or not. Yeah, I do think Lonzo's good. My final verdict on Lonzo is that he's good. He's just not great. What's up, Randolph Truitt? Good to see you in here. So Gucci's asking, he has 250. Should he buy Moments PD, Giannis, or the new Paul George? If you don't have a Giannis card, you should buy a Giannis card. Giannis is still the best card in the game, in my opinion. The next best card would be LeBron James because he's the biggest mismatch, but Giannis is still number one. His hop step is unreal. He's the tallest card that moves around like that. His dimensions are silly, and he's the only card that's like the best one-on-one card and also the best defensive card. Like he's outrageous. So if you don't have Giannis, it is my highest recommendation that you get Giannis, particularly so that if somebody else has Giannis, you can pull Giannis off the bench and use him that way. Wally Warrior says KD is better than Giannis. So here's the thing with that argument. First of all, I think Giannis is much more effective at defending KD than KD is at defending KD. So right off the bat, that shows you a difference between the two cards. While I believe KD might be the best overall offensive card in the game, if somebody prefers Kawhi or they prefer Paul George or they prefer Tracy McGrady, they can get the same production out of those cards as they can out of the Kevin Durant card. Giannis has no compare. He's the only Giannis in the game. He's like the LeBron James card. Is KD a better scorer in this game than LeBron James? Yes, he is. Is LeBron James more of a unique mismatch by a million miles? Yes, he is. There are a lot of cards that do KD's job nearly as well as he does, whereas there's nobody that does Giannis's job nearly as well as he does, and there's nobody that does LeBron's job nearly as well as he does. LeBron is just super, ridiculous in that regard. Should you go for the moments or the spotlight? That depends entirely on how many of those moments cards you have, and how many of those spotlight cards you have, and what's your appetite for doing spotlights. I don't think so. Okay, there's not enough of a difference between those two cards to justify the MT that you would get from selling the moments Giannis versus the fact that you cannot sell the spotlight Giannis. The spotlight Giannis has no economical value, but he has tremendous team value, which is like double value. Every card in your collection that you can sell is potential MT that you don't have in your account. So you're always going to be looking at the next card to see if they're better. You're constantly looking to upgrade. Spotlight Giannis is a non-upgradable card, and all of the MT that you spend acquiring those spotlights, you will get back by selling those cards back and by actually earning the MT during the spotlights. Those spotlight challenges, including all of the the MT you get from playing the games themselves, including the MT rewards. Those, I don't know if they're worth like something like 25, 30K or something like that. So if you are in the market for a Giannis and you have the ability to get the spotlight, then I would say definitely get the spotlight, because you'll have all of that MT left over to then get Paul George anyway, and you can just get both cards. So that would be my overall suggestion. You said Blake Griffin's filthy also. I actually do like that Blake Griffin card. I think he's slightly outdated just with the lack of clamps, because at the power forward position, if somebody's running Giannis or Bam, you might just have to switch Blake out. And Blake feels a little sluggish to me. Like maybe with a speed shoe, he gets a little better. But I think that like cards like that Tom Chambers and Bam Adebayo, that's what kind of pushed Blake out for me. But I do still like that Blake Griffin card. I do think he's still a usable card, and I think he's still a good card. He just has weaknesses. People think if a card has weaknesses, they're like bad. No, it just means they have weaknesses. You got to play around it. Some weaknesses are too much to get over. Like a card with a slow release and no range extender is not going to be able to shoot, So they need either range extender or a fast release to be able to shoot. But certain weaknesses like, a center that's a good rebounder and got a lot of vertical leap, but he doesn't have clamps. Well, it's like, it depends on what your opponent's running. You might not need clamps to deal with that situation. You know what I mean? So it's like C-Web with the lack of intimidator. Is that a negative? Sure. Is it so much of a negative that, now you can't win games? No, not at all. It's just something that if somebody has certain cards and they're busting you with those cards, you might have to make an adjustment. Like I think if somebody's running Anthony Davis, C-Web might need to switch out. But if somebody's running other cards, C-Web might be just fine. But, all right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for the Lonzo video. Thank you so much for rocking with me. is that it? No, we still got to come back with a Hamidou Diallo video. So I'll see y'all right back here. Hopefully all y'all will be back. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all of the feedback. And good luck on your pulls and your snipes. I'll see y'all soon.